What's up, party people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 156 and season 5, episode 18 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. It's your boy Stony coming back at you for the 156th time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow lowlifes, hoodlums, scumbags, heathens, scoundrels, shady characters, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, wise guys, hustlers, people that give themselves nicknames and speak in the third person, unacceptable. Foul-mouthed, raging alcoholics, MLB players that have got into a fight with Bryce Harper, you know who you are. Cheats, disasters that take pride in a $4 profit on WNBA, also unacceptable. Fienders with abusive language, gangsters, degenerates. Let's face it, anybody with a massive gambling problem. If you're new to the show, hey, you probably fit into one or a few of those categories, so welcome, because you're one of us. One of us, gooba gabba, one of us. We accepted one of us. Sorry, sometimes I get a little carried away. Hey, make sure you hit the subscribe button right down here, lower right-hand corner. Ring that bell. That way you can get notified every time I put out a new video. Like the video, comment on the video. It only helps. To spread the word is also very easy. Just tell other scumbags and degenerates you know to go to YouTube and enter Thoughts and Hunches in the search bar. That'll take you directly to my page and you can get dialed into everything that I give you. Also, if you're new and you don't know what's what with this channel, it's college and pro football winners, MLB playoff winners, and college basketball winners. That's it. The books don't expect a guy like me to deliver this many winners. I'm an outlier and I'm a disruptor. I'm like the Beastie Boys. I disrupt.
Step inside the party, disrupt the whole scene.
That's what I do. I do the research every single week, right? And I go to the mattresses to get you the info in order to get you to the window with a ticket to cash. Now, before I get to the picks, as usual, I have some thoughts. Al?
Give me all you got. Listen. Give me all you got.
That's right, Al. Can't get enough of that. Okay, let's start with some programming notes. Stoniecast 157 next week's will be posted on Christmas Eve next Tuesday. I'll have bowl games and the whole NFL Week 17, including the Christmas Day matchup in Pittsburgh, so make sure to look out for that. Before I get going, I got to drop some knowledge on bowl games. Yes, I'm giving you selections for every single bowl game with totals and every single college football playoff. But there's a caveat. Many bowl games are being hamstrung by the transfer portal. Let me explain. The NCAA transfer portal, which I despise, began the day after the regular season ended. So many players have already entered the portal and will not be playing in their school's bowl game. That also counts with some coaches who've left and won't be coaching in the bowl game. It's tough to see for some of the lesser bowl games how many players are out, but for the majority of the college football playoff, players will be staying put unless you're Penn State, where their backup quarterback has already decided to transfer and won't be available for the playoff. So basically keep that in mind when doing your research during bowl season. And also, very important, check out weather reports, because there's some bad inclement weather that's predicted this weekend for the college football playoffs, specifically South Bend, Columbus, and Happy Valley are all supposed to have some pretty nasty weather. So keep that in mind when you're handicapping these games. Now, as for the week that was, a disappointing 2 games in the NCAA football last week ended 1-1 to close out the regular season, and 0-2 to start the bowl season. Not very good. NFL weekend was a brutal start in the 1 o'clock window, but I got hot in the afternoon and hit Sunday night to get up to 7-7 for the week. Monday night I got a split and wound up 8-8 on the week in the NFL. Whatever. College hoops was disappointing throughout the week until Saturday dropped, and I just, I kicked some serious ass on the books to the tune of 11-5. So add it all up, 30-21 for the week on the hardwood, made my week, albeit barely, right? But you add them all up, and it's yet another week in the black for me. That's my 9th straight winning week, right? So let's take a look at these updated numbers right now. Last week, 39 wins, 33 losses, 54.17%, which is in the black, but it's not great. NCAA football regular season, end of the regular season after the Army-Navy game last week, 188 wins, 122 losses, 1 push, 60.64% to close out the regular season, makes it my best NCAA football regular season in 3 years. NFL regular season, numbers are starting to drop now. 134 wins, 97 losses, 6 pushes, 58.01%. 3 straight not so good weeks means it's time to start stepping it up. NCAA basketball regular season hasn't been great, but a good week last week gets me to 241 wins, 178 losses, 3 pushes, 57.52%, and 57 still gets paid. Now, bowl season before last night's game was 0-2 on the weekend, 0%. But we got a long way to go. And I got a split last night, so I'm now 1-3 in bowls, right? Overall, every single pick that I've given you in all 16 Stoniecasts this season, 613 wins, 452 losses, 10 pushes, good for 57.56%. Numbers that any way you look at it, they can only mean one thing.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
That's right, Teddy. You tell him. Please remember that all these picks are 100% free, right? So for all the touts out there that give you 75 to 80% winners, come on. We all know you're full of shit. Plus, you're charging for these picks.
Oh!
Yeah. I mean, come on. You know, with me, all you got to do is come to YouTube every week and I'll drop my plays on you for free. All right? You ready? Let's hit this. Away we go to episode number 18.
Just win, baby.
That's right, Al. Tell him. When you start the first night of the week 0-3, bad thoughts start to enter your head. But when you come back and drop 5 straight on the books, it's a good thing. 5-3 with 2 money line sprinkles last night in college hoops is just what the doctor ordered. And despite a split in the Frisco Bowl, I'll gladly take 6-4 to kickstart the week. Now, let's move on to college hoops tonight. 6:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. I like Creighton to start the night in a good way at -4.5 at Georgetown. Staying in the Big East at 7 Eastern on FS1, I'm on Xavier, catching 13.5 at 11th ranked Connecticut. 7 Eastern, give me Davidson, +1 at Temple with a sprinkle on the money line.
Sprinkle me, man.
That a boy. 7 Eastern on ESPN2, I'll continue my run of road teams tonight and dance with 21st ranked Memphis, -4 at Virginia. Here's a good one at 8 Eastern, where I'll take San Francisco, catching 1.5 at Bradley with a sprinkle. 40?
Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle.
Attaboy. 9 Eastern on FS1, I like 9th ranked Marquette, -14 at home over Butler. 9 Eastern at the Pit in Albuquerque. Give me New Mexico, -3.5 at home versus Virginia Commonwealth. That should be another good one, too. 9 Eastern on ESPN2. I'm on 14th ranked Oklahoma, +4.5 at home versus number 24 Michigan. 10 Eastern, I'll take UC Santa Barbara, +3.5 on the road at Loyola Marymount. And finally, 11 Eastern on FS1, I'm going to dance with Washington State, catching 3.5 on the road in a rivalry in Seattle against Washington. That's 10 college hoops plays for you tonight while you're busy watching bowl games, right? There's lots and lots of bowl games, right, this week, right? And they began Saturday and they continued last night. They're going to be going every day except for NFL Sundays, right? So let's move on to this week and let's get it started today. 5:30 Eastern on ESPN at FAU Stadium in the Boca Raton Bowl. where 8-4 James Madison is a 7-point chalk over 8-5 Western Kentucky, and the total's 50. Both schools limped home as Madison dropped their last two, while Western Kentucky lost 3 out of 4 down the stretch. Madison has been a silent killer the last few years, and that should continue here with a good combo of rushing and passing with a very good defense. Plus, Western Kentucky's got transfer issues and players are out. I'm on the Dukes here, -7 and under 50. Tonight at 9 Eastern on ESPN at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Always up to no good. Shout out Dre. 24th ranked Nevada, Las Vegas is a 3.5-point favorite versus Cal. And the total's 47.5 in the LA Bowl. Sponsored by Gronk. Yeah, Gronk is sponsoring the bowl. I can't understand it. Anyway, Cal lost 2 out of 3 and haven't covered any of their last 3, while UNLV's only 2 losses since September were both to Boise State. Excuse me. The Rebels' rushing game is solid, right? Jaden Thomas and quarterback Hajj Malik Williams lead the way. Give me a second. That rushing attack is going to cause confusion for Cal while they try to cover all-conference wideout Ricky White III. I'm on UNLV here, -3.5 and under 47.5. Tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2 at the Dome in the Big Easy. 8-4 Georgia Southern is a 6-point favorite versus 9-3 Sam Houston State, and the total's 48.5 in the New Orleans Bowl. Both schools played well down the stretch as Southern outscored their foes, while Houston got it done by running the ball with a very good defense. This will continue tomorrow as Georgia Southern gets the W, but Sam Houston gets the cover. Bearcats +6 and under 48.5. Moving on to NFL Week 16 tomorrow night, 8:15 Eastern on Amazon at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Always up to no good. Dre, I hear you. Where the 8-6 Chargers are 3-point home favorites versus 9-5 Denver, and the total's 42.5. The Chargers have slipped, having dropped 3 out of 4, while Denver's won 4 straight in a matchup of the 2 best defenses in the NFL. I don't see either team pulling away in what should be a defensive slugfest, but the Chargers need this one more than the Broncos, and it's in La La Land. Chargers -3. Friday, we've got 2 bowl games and the beginning of the college football playoff for your degenerateness to get down on. And it all starts at noon Eastern in the Cure Bowl on ESPN at the Bounce House in Orlando, where 10-3 Ohio is a 3.5-point favorite versus 9-4 Jacksonville State, and the total's 54.5. Ohio won the MAC by dominating and covering their last 6 games, while Jayville State took Conference USA by winning 5 of their last 6. Both teams can score and will score, but Ohio's more polished. I like the Bobcats here, -3.5 and over 54.5. The Gasparilla Bowl goes Friday at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN2 at the Sombrero in Tampa, where 7-5 Florida is a 14-point favorite versus 9-4 Tulane, and the total's 49.5. Florida survived after a miserable start to save head coach Billy Napier's job by running the gauntlet of the toughest SEC schedule possible by taking out LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State to close out the regular season behind red-hot quarterback DJ Lagway, while Tulane was eyeing a playoff berth before bad losses to Memphis and Army down the stretch. Tulane is still dangerous, though Florida is going to close the season in style with an easy win here, basically at home. Gators -14, over 49.5. Friday night, 8 Eastern on ABC in front of Touchdown Jesus in South Bend. The college football playoff finally gets underway as 5th-ranked Notre Dame is a 7.5-point home favorite versus number 8 Indiana, and the total's 51.5. Notre Dame's lone loss was a bad one at home to Northern Illinois, but that was way back in week 2, and the Irish have since won 10 straight, covering 8 of them with an incredibly balanced offense and the emergence of Jeremiah Love as their feature back. Indiana's lone loss was a good one in Columbus last month, as quarterback Curtis Rourke has had an incredibly efficient season for the upstart Hoosiers. The problem is that IU hasn't beaten anyone worth mentioning, and Notre Dame Stadium is never kind to visitors. I think the Irish win easily in the Battle of Indiana and move on to face Georgia in the semifinals. Irish minus 7.5 and over 51.5. No bowl games on Saturday, but the remaining 3 college football playoff quarterfinals get going, starting at noon Eastern on TNT at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley, as 4th-ranked Penn State is an 8.5-point home chalk versus number 10 Southern Methodist, and the total's 54.5. Penn State's 2 losses were to Ohio State and top-ranked Oregon, but their resume is void of any wins over any ranked opponents. Just like Penn State, SMU faced only 2 ranked opponents all season and lost to both of them. I've always said Penn State beats everybody except Michigan and Ohio State, and while they beat Michigan this year, they played well, but lost to OSU and Oregon. I think home cooking is what the Nittany Lions need here. Penn State wins, right? But SMU is sneaky good, right? And I think they're going to get the cover, and they're going to get the cover by hanging around.
Hanging around. Kids got alligator blood.
SMU and Mike McDermott have alligator blood, right, Teddy? Give me SMU catching 8.5 and under 54.5. Saturday, 4 Eastern on TNT at the DKR in Austin. 3rd-ranked Texas is an 11.5-point home favorite versus number 16 Clemson, and the total's 51.5. Texas lost twice to Georgia. So did Clemson. As Clemson once. Those were Texas' only 2 setbacks this season, while Clemson rebounded from a rough start to win the ACC title 2 weeks ago with a thrilling win over SMU. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers, he gets all the press, and he's been good. But Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik has just simply been better, right? Both schools are fairly even offensively, but Texas gets the edge defensively, especially on the D-line. Texas gets the W and moves on, but beware of Clemson. They're dangerous. So I'll take Clemson and all those points to go along with over 51.5. The best game, in my opinion, of the first round is the nightcap Saturday night, 8 Eastern on ABC at the Horseshoe in Columbus, as number 6 Ohio State is a 7.5-point home chalk versus 7th-ranked Tennessee, and the total's 46.5. Ohio State lost at top-ranked Oregon 2 months ago, but it was the regular season-ending home loss to Michigan that really cost them a trip to the Big Ten title game and a rematch with Oregon. That was glaring. Tennessee's 2 losses were both on the road at Arkansas and at Georgia, as freshman quarterback Nico Iamaleava, right? He was learning throughout the season, but he continues to improve, and he's gotten better as the season has worn on. But the story of the Vols this year has been their defense, especially their defensive line, and the emergence of do-all-back Dylan Sampson. This one has the makings of a great one. And while 7.5 may be a trap, I can't go along with it. And I have to take the Vols based on their defensive intensity. Tennessee plus 7.5 and under 46 and a hook. The final 3 weeks of the NFL season each year means we get Saturday football. And while I won't be watching this Saturday, because I'll be watching the college football playoff, there's actually 2 pretty good games. And this week we'll get it going Saturday, 1 Eastern on NBC at racially insensitive Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, as the 13-1 Chiefs are 3-point home favorites versus 9-5 Houston, and the total's 40. Houston clinched the playoff berth with their win Sunday versus Miami, and now they head to KC to try and help their chances of moving up the leaderboard in the AFC playoff scene. The story of this game is clearly Patrick Mahomes' high ankle sprain, which all the world looks like he's going to give it a go now, right? And the line has bounced around all week. The Chiefs have had enough trouble covering numbers all season. I think Houston goes in and leaves with a win and a cover here. Texas plus 3 on the road. You want to sprinkle it? fine. Sprinkle it. 40. I didn't have that one queued up, but Texans +3 on the road with a sprinkle. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on Big Fox at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. The 9-5 Ravens are 6-point home favorites versus 10-4 Pittsburgh, and the total's 45. Baltimore's flip-flop wins and losses over their last 6, while Pittsburgh dropped one in Philly on Sunday and now only have a 1-game lead over Baltimore. The Ravens are hit and miss this year, but as good as Lamar Jackson has been over the years, he's 1-6 against the Steelers. Pittsburgh head coach Mike Tomlin has been phenomenally successful over the years as a dog, and while he cost me on Sunday, I don't see them dropping 2 straight. They may lose, but Steelers get the cover. Pittsburgh +6. Moving to NFL Sunday, let's get it all started. 1 Eastern on Fox at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Hotlanta, where the 7-7 Falcons are 8.5-point home favorites versus the 2-12 Giants, and the total's 41. Atlanta is miles ahead of the Giants, but that ain't saying much because everyone's miles ahead of the Giants except for maybe the Raiders. The Falcons have decided to bench Kirk Cousins in favor of rookie Michael Penix. Atlanta still owes Cousins $180 million. Ouch. Atlanta wins, but I think I'm going to take the Giants and the 8.5 right here, plus under 41. 1 Eastern on Fox at Soldier Field in the Windy City. 12-2 Detroit is a 6.5-point road favorite at the 4-10 Bears, and the total's 48. The Lions got knocked off by Buffalo at home on Sunday in one of my winners.
Hoo-ah!
That's right, Al. Keep them on their toes, Al. That's you're welcome. But it was a costly loss for the Lions, right? His back David Montgomery's now done for the year with season-ending knee surgery. That's a big loss, and the Lions' injuries continue to pile up, but the Bears pose no threat here. They just don't. They're just bad. And they're coming off a short week. Lions -6 and a hook. 1 Eastern on CBS at the Jungle in Cincinnati. The 6-8 Bengals are 7-point home favorites over 3-11 Cleveland, and the total's 48. While Cincinnati's season is toast because of a god-awful defense, they got some breaks the last 2 weeks in wins over Dallas and Tennessee. I know the Cowboys and Titans both stink, but they're both better than Cleveland. Bengals -7 at home is the play. 1 Eastern on CBS at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. The 6-8 Colts are 4.5-point favorites versus Tennessee, and the total's 42.5. The Colts blew a golden opportunity to move into the AFC playoff picture on Sunday, and now they get to host the Titans, who are a train wreck, with quarterback Will Levis, who belongs in a bakery selling turnovers, which is why he was benched today. Mason Rudolph gets the start. Doesn't matter. Colts -4 and a chunk. 1 Eastern on CBS at Snoopyville in New Jersey. The 8-6 Ram Chops are 3-point road favorites at the 4-10 Jets, and the total's 46.5. The Rams are hot, and they need to keep winning if they want their season finale against Seattle to decide the NFC West. The Jets lost 9 out of 10 before beating the Jags on Sunday. Yeah, I know, it's the Jags. Rams may be traveling cross-country, but they get the win here. Ram Chops -3. 1 Eastern on Fox at Northwest Stadium in Landover. The 12-2 Eagles are 3-point road favorites at 9-5 Washington, and the total's 45.5. Philly's cruising. I think they could possibly be the best team in the NFL, right? They're tied with the Lions for the NFC's best record, while Washington can't beat anyone with a winning record, and they should have lost on Sunday to the Saints with their third-string quarterback. Forget about it. Philly -3. 1 Eastern on Fox at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. 7-7 Arizona is a 4-point road favorite at 3-11 Carolina, and the total's 47. Zona got a much-needed win on Sunday versus New England in another one of my wins.
Hoo-ah!
That's right, Al. Tell them. You're welcome for that, by the way. Now they head cross-country to face a team that has been covering numbers lately. Zona wins, Carolina covers. Panthers +4 at home. 4 Eastern on Fox at Lumen Field in Seatown. We got a good one right here. 12-2 Minnesota's a 3-point road favorite at the 8-6 Seahawks, and the total's 42.5. The Vikings continue to roll, putting pressure on Detroit and Philadelphia for the NFC's top seed, but they're coming off a short week here and traveling to the left coast. Seattle's 4-game win streak came to a halt on Sunday night as Green Bay went in and just absolutely crushed them, right? In another one of my winners.
Hoo-ah!
That's right, Al. You're welcome for that, by the way. Plus, Geno Smith is banged up too. Sorry, Vikings -3. 4:25 Eastern on CBS at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. The 11-3 Bills are 14-point home favorites versus New England, and the total's 47. With the exception of the loss to the Rams 2 weeks ago, the Bills have been red hot and putting up massive numbers. The Pats' only win since October was over the Bears. Bills -14. Every week there seem to be more than a few stinkers in the NFL, and this Sunday at 4:25 Eastern on CBS at the Death Star in America's playground of Las Vegas, we get the ultimate stinker. As the 2-12 Raiders are 1-point home favorites versus 3-1 Jacksonville, and the total's 39.5. Two god-awful teams are in this one fighting for draft status in a game that neither team wants to win. Jags +1 with a sprinkle.
Sprinkle me, man.
That a boy 40. And while we're at it, under 39.5. 4:25 Eastern on CBS at Hard Rock Stadium in Bienvenidos a Miami. 6-8 Dolphins are 1.5-point home chalk versus 6-8 San Francisco, and the total's 46. In a matchup of two teams that are clearly underachieving and struggling.
Struggling.
Tell them, Joe, again.
Struggling.
One more time for good luck.
Struggling.
Thanks, Joe. Needed that one. The Dolphins are basically toast now after their loss in Houston on Sunday, while the 49ers are a train wreck. Sure, they have extra rest after losing to the Rams last Thursday, but cross-country travel for a team that has no identity right now doesn't end well. Fins -1 and a hook. I hit with the Packers last Sunday night, and I'm now 9-6, while I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Shout out Carrie and her legs. Oh, those legs. This one goes at 8:20 Eastern on NBC at Jerry World in Arlington, where 8-6 Tampa Bay is a 4-point road favorite at 6-8 Dallas, and the total's 49. Tampa's smoking hot right now and are putting up big numbers very quietly. The Cowboys have inexplicably won 3 out of 4 against nobody. Tampa Bay is somebody. Baker bakes and cooks in Jerry World. Tampa -4. Before we get to NFL Monday Night Football, there are 2 bowl games during the day on Monday. And the first one is the Myrtle Beach Bowl at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN at Brooks Stadium in Conway, where 6-6 Texas San Antonio is a 9-point road favorite at 6-6 Coastal Carolina, and the total's 55.5. The reason it's a road game for UTSA is because CCU is playing a home game. UTSA was hot down the stretch before losing a tough one to Army, while CCU hasn't been right the last month. That explains the big number. I'm on the Roadrunners here in what should be an easy one. UTSA -9 and over 55.5. Monday, 2:30 Eastern on ESPN on the Smurf Turf in Boise. 7-5 Northern Illinois is a 3-point favorite versus 6-6 Fresno State, and the total set at 40.5 in the Idaho Potato Bowl. NIU's won 3 out of 4 with a couple of big wins in the MAC, while Fresno lost 3 out of 4 with some bad losses mixed in there. Fresno will throw it, while Northern will run it. I like the Huskies here, so give me NIU -3 and under 40 and a hook in a defensive battle. And finally, NFL Monday Night Football goes at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the 10-4 Packers are 13.5-point home chalk versus 5-9 New Orleans, and the total's 42. The Packers are hot and gearing up for the playoffs, while the Saints are just not good. If you were a road team, would you want to go and play at Lambeau 2 days before Christmas? And you play in a dome? Yeah, I wouldn't either. Pack win and roll. Green Bay -13.5. That's 18 NFL games right there to go along with 11 college football matchups with totals, 22, and 10 college football. Gives us 39. That's just a ton of games, right? That gives us 49 games, right? But I've already given you 10 yesterday. So get ready for a ton more college basketball coming this Saturday. Make sure to check the comment section for daily hoops picks and check back next Tuesday on Christmas Eve as Stoniecast number 157 will drop on you. So until then, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. The difference between winning and making money is that anyone can win betting chalk, but you can't make money unless you take the dogs. Do you want to win or do you want to make money? It's a fair question. Think about it. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you. And yep, I still miss you, Gooch, my brother. I'm going to miss not seeing you this weekend. I'll be in California this weekend. Next week, Stoniecast 157 will be broadcast live from will be broadcast from California. I'll be at my brother's house. Merry Christmas to all. Have a great holiday season. Teddy, take us home, buddy.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.